Hey everyone, this is Deno from Toku Nation, back with another review today. Actually, this is a double review for DX Kyoryuger Bunpachy and Ankydon, the two latest releases, aside from Toyline O from the DX Mecha line for Zyuden Sentai Kyoryuger. I'm just going to show you the basics of each figure and then the combinations with Dricera for Kyoryuzin. So let's just jump right in. We'll take a look at Ankydon first. And the battery he comes with, the same basic gimmick we've been known to see from these figures. So what we're going to do is pop the mouth open, battery in, hit the release trigger on the bottom so that we don't, so we can actually push it all the way in, and hammer time. The only problem is you have to actually push it one more notch down to lock it down. It doesn't actually lock on its own. And for some reason, I guess, I don't think this will matter later, but the piece comes separately, the actual hammer piece. But yeah, that's Ankydon. That's pretty much it. Nothing too special there. I'll show you how the arm mode goes. Up, 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 up. Mouth open, battery out. And there he is as an arm. Bunpachy, recently released, is a rather interesting new figure. Well, I mean, still a remold of the basic Zactor Parasagon mold, but same basic battery. I will show you his action feature. It's not quite as well done as the others. Just watch. Yeah, that happened. This isn't just me doing it wrong, this is just it not being executed very well. And I'll show you why. When you do this, all that you're doing is releasing this yellow tab on his helmet. When the battery goes in and out, that's all it's doing, is popping this up. That's the only thing that moves this from its locked position. This is locked down over his hard head helmet, and when you push the battery in, that's it. All it's doing is pushing that tab up, so this makes it easier to come off. So in a standard position like this, there's no shooting it off of his head or anything. It's just this really weak sort of nothing. That's it. That's probably the biggest downfall for this figure. The biggest surprise being that this is actually jointed all the way through. This entire chain is completely jointed, and it spins like this on the end of his tail. So you actually get quite a range of movement out of it, and way more than I expected. But this is a huge letdown. So barring that, let's just go ahead and get the battery in arm position and fold the legs and arms up. And there he is as an arm. So first off, I'm going to show you Kyoryuzin Macho, which uses Ankydon and Dricera, who I've already got here off to the side. So here we go. Let's do the battery dance. And that is Kyoryuzin Macho. Now, to move Bunpachy out of the way for a moment, I've noticed a lot of people complain that, you know, already Dricera's drill is too long. It doesn't actually touch the ground, but it comes pretty close. I've also noticed quite a bit of complaining about this, about the mallet from Ankydon hitting the ground. Now yes, it does just barely hit the ground in this configuration. When the legs are properly splayed out like this, you are going to have it hitting just a little bit. I mean, I've seen some people try and pop the legs a little closer together. That doesn't really help. You're not really doing anything to alleviate that problem. So it is going to hit a bit. That might be why this joint has that extra sort of stop there, but you can also just fold it back up onto his arm for display if you're worried about paint rubbing or anything like that. It's really not a big deal, but I know for some people it could be. So that's it for Kyoryuzin Macho. So let's pop this apart and start over. We'll do it this time. I'm just gonna lock Bunpachy's weapon onto his helmet, make it a little bit easier for this process. So here we go. And that is Kyoryuzin Kung Fu. Again, you're still going to have the same little problem you did with the mallet there hitting the ground. Bunpachy's almost long enough to do that, but he just barely has enough clearance. Now, popping his mace off, of course, yeah, that's fairly obviously going to drag the ground quite a bit. There's not really a lot you can do with it, aside from rotating the arms up and maybe having it, come a little further out like this, but that doesn't really do you much good. I mean, for display purposes, it's not a big deal. Toy-wise, functionality, there's not really much you can do with it. It's still a good idea that it's jointed like this, but at least for my shelf, I tend to have the two of them with their weapons stored like that. It just makes it a bit easier. Now, these two are going to be featured in the Kyoryuger summer musical film, The Gabarincho of Music, and they will feature a combination with Toba Spino to form Spino Dio. Now, as if these two gigantic weapons they already have aren't enough, Toba Spino's back fin, which will cover up the head section, is actually going to turn into a boomerang and a sword, I believe, that can be handheld here and here. A lot of people had wondered why they still bothered to mold in, open hands on these for weapons, if they were in fact weapons already, and that's the case. So this thing's going to be armed to the teeth when it comes out. But for now, that is it. The next video you see will be my DX Trident O review. So thanks a lot. See you guys.